Earth to go world. Earth to go world. Is anyone there? I hope so. You got your host, Dr. Phil, in the house tonight. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully the audio is good tonight. Hopefully everybody can hear me. The music is playing. Let me turn that down just a little bit. All right, let me make sure I got the mic situated properly. 1 second, folks. Oops. Hopefully that sounds good. All right, let's see what everybody's up to tonight. Welcome you fine folks in. Welcome in, Nutty. Yes, everybody, be sure to leave a like if you're enjoying the stream. If you'd like to see more of this content, please leave a like and be sure to sub to this channel if you'd like to see more of this fine content. Welcome in, Nirvana. Welcome to all the good souls in chat, indeed. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful evening. Capricorn NJ, good to see you. Nora Alizu, good to see you tonight, friend. Hopefully everybody's feeling well. I got a good show planned tonight. Hey, Tucker and friends, good to see you. Mom's having a good day. Yep. Welcome in, Cinnamon Girl 1978. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day today. I've had a pretty good day today. Had some pizza for dinner, which was good. I've been staying on my diet for the most part. I'm happy about that. Finally starting to get a little bit of weight off. Slowly but surely, it's starting to come back off where it belongs. So everybody's had a great day, a great week. Welcome in, Rory STFU. What up, fillets? Hopefully everybody's having, I love that, fillets, very cute. A little bit of pizza. I hope you had a piece or two. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Nirvana. I thought it was a really funny one. I really liked it too. And for everybody who enjoyed last week, we got more of this week for you. Got the second part of the Glitter and Lasers interview. I've got some more of Glitter and Lasers social media updates, but I've also got some additional content tonight. I'm not sure which direction to go in yet. I've got some foodie who's actually live right now, but it's kind of boring. But we're gonna check in a little bit just to see what's going on. There were some Rosee vids that were really funny. And of course we have the Glitter and Lasers content, which has been phenomenal lately. We have Zio the Dreamer, the new girl in town. I've only covered a little bit. So yeah, we got plenty of content for you tonight. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Making some chicken soup, sounds delicious. Sounds delicious, Elisa. And if it's not delicious, well, eat it anyway, right? Okay, so let's let it get started here. First off, we got Foodie, who is live right now. Let's just check in Foodie a little bit, because I'm going to do like I did last week, where I'm going to do, let me turn off the music actually. I need to keep the music going. I'm going to do like I did last week, where I'm going to run the live show, and then I'm going to use the social media updates during the show, so we can kind of have two things going at once. Yeah, we'll kind of have two different things going at once this way. I think you get more for your monies this way. So let me pull up the Foodie stream, just so we can see what's going on with her, if it's anything interesting. And if it's not, well, that's what we got Glitter and Lasers for tonight. So let's give Foodie a little bit of a chance, see if she's going anything.
Life adventures. Positive life adventures. Positive adventures.
So Foodie's in a great mood because pizza's going to stay with her now, apparently.
I have to tackle my weight, my health.
Hopefully the volume is good. You folks can hear Foodie a little bit.
Right.
I'm going to pull up some Glitter and Lasers social media while this is going on. Yeah. So we're going to have two things going at once.
Thank you. Nina, not sharing your piece or your piece. Thanks, Nina. The P-E-A-C-E. TikTok. TikTok is, yeah.
All right, so we're going to start us off with a Glitter and Lasers, because Foodie really is not too interesting today. She's just kind of rambling. So we're just going to go straight to Glitter and Lasers. We've got Glitter and Lasers here with social media. She's apparently, oh, also let me introduce Glitter and Lasers for anybody not familiar. I know most of you are. Glitter and Lasers, the 600-pound athlete, the influencer, the, what do they call her? The confidence queen, the queen of positivity, the queen of fashion and just being fun and cool and just a fun, great person, right? Well, it's all a facade. It's all a facade. We see here, let me give a little bit of background on why I dislike Glitter and Lasers so people don't think I'm just picking on some random woman. She is an influencer, but what does she influence people about? Well, over the last year and a half, she's had a series of plastic surgeries, liposuctions, which she claims would cure her lipedema, which is a condition where her body fat cells, they become, I'm at a loss for words, where she's unable to lose body fat, where it becomes like cellulite. It becomes very difficult to lose, very dense, very unsightly. And she claims it also became very painful. And she had to have this dense, fibrous fat removed through liposuction to remove the pain that she was experiencing. It wasn't cosmetic. It wasn't for weight loss. It was purely to reduce her pain. Now that that pain has been reduced, she's able to do strong woman activities. Everything about this is questionable. I've done a lot of videos in depth questioning her old plastic surgery arc, questioning the nature of her disability. She claims to be disabled, but it seems to come and go. I understand it's not a constant thing, but it just seems to be exceptionally hard to define for her. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but for somebody who has connective tissue disorders, she just did a 30-second dead hang at over 500 pounds of body weight, something that if you had issues with connective tissue would probably be very difficult for your joints. So, rambling out of the way, let's start with the video.
It's officially the holiday season now.
Today, I'm partnering with Native because their limited edition holiday scents are finally out.
Can you even hear that? It's just kind of quiet.
Native just gets it. Their scents smell really, really good.
They're made with clean ingredients and leave me feeling
All right, first off, how is she even able to smell that over her own aroma? That's my first question.
I can feel good about what's going on in my body.
Glitter is not somebody who's known for keeping clean. She goes to the gym, she gets really sweaty, and then she goes to the restaurant in her gym clothes. Then she goes to the massage parlor in her gym clothes without changing, gets a massage, and then goes home before changing. She doesn't really wash her hair ever. She doesn't really ever wash her face. She has really bad skin because she doesn't wash her CPAP. She has a CPAP mask, and it's always dirty, so she always has a lot of blemishes around her mouth. So now she's advertising soap. She has a history of advertising products she doesn't use. Does she use this soap? If she does, it's not very good.
Also smelling fantastic. That smells so good. So,
You're the gift I want this year. It's my.
All right, so I got to beat through the music here. But yeah, okay. So we got Glitter here advertising soap. Let me pull up a picture of Glitter and Laser so you can get an idea of what she looks like after using this amazing soap, right? Because this is some really like good stuff. It really helps her to look her best and smell her best as well. This is a picture that she just put up recently. This is the level of dirtiness that she's dealing with. This is not normal. This is not a normal, acne, adult acne. This is somebody who's like really going out of their way to be dirty. Like it's hard to have this level of open sores on your face unless you're like a advanced meth addict. It's really tough to achieve this level of bad skin. So let's go back to her ad for soap and cleansers, right? Because she's certainly somebody who knows all about cleansing. Let's get back to how she keeps herself so clean. Oh, she's dancing. She's dancing while she's got her soaps. So yeah, there you go. Do you want to buy soap from this woman? Seriously? like I'm trying to be funny, but I'm almost speechless at the moment. Like, it's just so absurd that somebody could be selling soaps when they look like somebody. The only thing she needs to wash off is her mirror, because she clearly has no idea what she looks like. That's what she needs. She needs some soap to wash off her mirror. And she also needs some wipes for her CPAP mask, because that thing is grungy. Does she have a partner? She has a creative partner, John, who records her, but no, she does not have a life partner. Oh, we actually have Rory. Welcome in, Rory. And we have an actual testimonial from this brand of products here. She claims that this native products are not very good, which I'm not surprised, because I mean, if Glitter and Laser uses these, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Finally out.
Excuse me.
Native just gets it. Their scents smell really, really good.
They're made with clean ingredients and leave me feeling.
Which, perfect segue. Somebody actually ran into her live.
I can feel good about
Kiwi-
what's going on in my body. Well,
Kiwi Farms has a report from somebody who ran into her live, and they said that she smelled. Now, we don't know if this is 100% true, but it reads like it's true. Let me pull this up in just a minute.
also smelling fantastic. That smells so good.
So let me go back to the bumper in a moment.
You're the gift I want this year.
Got to cut off the music because she tortures us with that. Okay, so let me pull up another video with Glitter here. We got some more social media from her recently. I thought this one was pretty funny because, you know, she's somebody who's not really into her appearance. She doesn't really take care of her appearance, but then she likes to dress very, I don't want to say provocatively, because she's not provoking anybody except to close their eyes. But she does dress in a way that's very scantily clad. She doesn't like to cover up a lot. She likes to show a lot of skin. She only stopped doing that recently because she got these compression garments after her liposuction surgeries. The compression garments are basically like a full body stocking. So she wears that, but that's something that she didn't really used to ever wear. She was always showing a lot of skin. But apparently, Glitter and Lasers has now decided that dressing for the gym modestly is something that people unfairly expect from her. Do they? I gotta turn off the music, as always. How people expect plus-size women to dress in the gym. How I actually dress in the gym. First off, what is wrong with this outfit? This outfit here, maybe it's a little bit, you know, I mean, is it the most attractive outfit? No. But it looks very functional. It looks comfortable. It looks like a good outfit for somebody going to the gym who's not trying to attract a lot of attention, right? Like, this looks kind of like what a lot of guys would wear to the gym. You know, some shorts, a t-shirt, a little warm-up jacket, sneakers. I mean, I think that's a pretty good outfit to wear to the gym. But no, instead, first of all, this outfit is perfectly fine as well, but this is kind of the same outfit. Like, except for the hoodie, this is almost the same exact outfit, right? Like, it's just different colors, but the outfit's the same. So I'm not so sure about that. This here is this is not really like a gym outfit. This looks like something you'd wear out somewhere. But I do like the full body compression, so I'm not hating on this too much. I don't know what she's trying to prove by this, that she likes to wear different colors. Like, is it supposed to mean something? Anyway, that's the, I'm trying to come up with some content here. So let me read your comments. Let me see if you folks have any opinion. Picking disorder, maybe, could be. She did try to start dating. She joined a dating app and she complained that a guy told her she was too fat. Probably. Let's look. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because if you look at this here, it says right here, native partner ad. So yes, she did. Let me catch up on the chat too. I'm a little bit behind. Her skin is absolutely still a mess. Welcome in, PetSmart. They do look like probably some kind of picking. I'm only hating on it because they advertise for Glitter, because they sponsor Glitter and Lasers. That's the only reason I'm hating on it. If they sponsor Glitter and Lasers, I'm going to trash them. That's just all it is. Look at the blue hoodie. She's a spectacle. She really is. She really is a spectacle. I mean, if it's cold, And I agree with you, PetSmart. As long as you're not being indecent, right? Who really cares? So let me keep going here. I'll share the bumper for a second. And I'm going to get back to some of the other vids. So let me pull up a vid she has where she describes being ill. Where'd it go here? All right, I can't find the original with bad skin. I only have the pic. I only have a freeze frame from it. But this one here, this came from a video that she did, but I don't have the video. I only have this frame. But she actually did a video recently, and that's where this came from, if anybody's wondering. Just wanted to share that. All right, so here's another one from Glitter and Lasers. And we're going to be getting to the interview soon. That's going to be the main topic of the night. But before we get to that, I want to cover a little more of her social media. And here we go. My go-to drink to bump my protein when I'm not hungry. Eating a minimum of 200 grams a day is hard, but something I'm very committed to doing to support my training. 200 grams of protein per day is a little bit excessive. I'm not going to say that it's unhealthy or dangerous or anything like that, but it just seems like more than she needs. But if she was eating 200 grams of protein that was lean protein, like 200 grams of protein from chicken breast, that would be pretty good. Protein drinks, low-calorie protein drinks. But she's basically using this protein consumption as an excuse to consume extra calories. Look at what she's got here. International Delight Pumpkin Spice Coffee Creamer. Somebody could look that up, but I would imagine that's probably 80. Well, no, it's probably like 40, 50 calories a serving. And I guess if you, let's look at it like this. How much would you put in a cup? How much of this stuff does Glitter put in the cup? Let's watch. All right, so she puts in 2 splashes for the camera. You know that when the camera's off, she dumps that stuff in there. But let's pretend she's only using 2 splashes. This drink here, I think, is 150 calories for the can. If anybody wants to look up that pumpkin spice coffee creamer, that would be awesome. But I'm going to estimate the calories on that for 100 for the thing. But yeah, this is what I mean. This is not a protein drink. This is like a milkshake. You're adding this coffee creamer stuff to it. This is just straight up cream or straight up fat. Excuse me. This is just palm oil or soybean oil. But I'm not sure which this is, but that's all it is. It's just straight up soybean oil added to her protein drink. If this protein drink in the can is any kind of a healthy drink, it no longer is. Once you add this creamer, you're killing the health value. You're turning this into a caloric drink. Now it's become a Starbucks milkshake. It's no longer a protein drink. Welcome to Jamie. Good to see you. PetSmart, Glitter and Lasers thinks that she needs to gain more muscle. I don't think she can gain much more muscle. I think that she's already, like her body mass is kind of maxed out. I think it's just a matter of conditioning the muscle she already has. Because she's carrying a lot of mass. She really is. How toned, how efficient is that body mass? Are those muscles able, do they have endurance? That's the question. But as far as carrying muscle mass, she has plenty of it. If she did what I eat in a day, she would need a week to describe it. It's over 9,000. She sees herself as stronger than Vegeta, so I mean, I think that's an appropriate meme. Yes, and welcome in if I missed anybody coming in. Thank you to all of the lurkers, all of the chatters. You folks are very much appreciated. And thank you to all of the members. Speaking of members, coming up in another, what? Oh, you posted, I think in, yes, a little over a week, we're going to have the members only monthly stream. I haven't decided finally on the subject yet, but I'm thinking something associated with true crime. So all of you members, got that members only stream coming up. I'm going to be posting the link to that probably in a few days. So let me pull up another piece of information here, a piece of social media. Here is a recent video of Glitter in the gym.
How did she get so big? Why is she so fat? Here's a little secret. I don't think...
Oh, this is... All right, I'm glad I found this one. This is the best video I have. I don't have a lot of videos this week. but this is the best one. Listen to the words here. Tell me if this is inspirational to you, or tell me if this is, tell me if this is what you think.
How did she get so big? Why is she so fat? Here's a little secret. I don't think about what got me here. In fact, I try to waste as little time as possible thinking about things I simply cannot change. This is where my body is right now. And what I'm focused on is how I can get to the next goal. I'm not wasting my time chasing my past. I'm investing everything in chasing my future.
This is maybe the most delusional thing I've heard from Glitter and Lasers in a long time. That's not true, actually, because I heard her interview just a week ago. If she was a normal human being, this would be the most delusional thing that she said maybe in her entire life. Let's break this down, sentence by sentence. I like to add value to my reaction. It's very easy to sit here and just remark at what a spectacle she is physically. It's easy to remark at how delusional she is, how poorly this woman represents obese people in general, hyper obese people, I guess. We could harp on that, but I think we could really get more out of it by analyzing the narration to this video. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's listen to the words, because the video is fun to watch too. But let's listen to the words, and then I'm gonna look at your comments and catch myself up on that.
How did she get so big? Why is she so fat?
How did she get so big? Why is she so fat? Perfectly legitimate comments, maybe a little bit direct, but respect to her for addressing those. Okay.
Here's a little secret. I don't think about what got me here. In fact,
I totally believe that. I think that you don't devote any thought whatsoever to what causes you to be so unhealthy. I don't think you put any thought into that. So I think Glitter's being honest here.
I try to waste as little time as possible thinking about things I simply cannot change.
Okay, now that's where we get a little more interesting. Wasting as little time as possible thinking about things she cannot change. She can't change how being fat. she can't. I mean, well, not without dieting. She can't. But notice how she framed that. Things that I cannot change. Why is she so big? Something she can't change. Why is she so fat? Something she can't change. Why can't you change any of that? And if you can't change any of that, then what the heck are you doing in the gym? Why are you in the gym if you can't change yourself physically? What is the point of being in the gym if you don't expect any change? So let's just replay that.
I try to waste as little time as possible thinking about things I simply cannot change. This is where my body is right now.
This is where my body is right now. Okay, I accept that.
And what I'm focused on is how I can get to the next goal.
But what is your next goal? Your next goal, you said you don't want to get smaller. You don't want to lose weight. So if you don't want to lose weight, you don't want to be healthier. Like what is your next goal? Just to weigh even more? To be even bigger? To take up more space? I mean, that's what she keeps saying. But besides, Glitter, how are you going to achieve this next goal if, like you said, these are things you can't change? What is your next goal?
I'm not wasting my time chasing my past. I'm investing everything in chasing my future.
These are platitudes. That's our Dr. Phil word of the day. Platitude. A platitude is a meaningless statement, a meaningless story. It's something that sounds really profound. It sounds really deep, but it's ultimately meaningless. It's like saying, hard work is the secret to success. I mean, maybe that's that. No, that is better than a platitude. A platitude is something that's very trite, something that sounds deep on the surface, but is ultimately meaningless. And when Anna says things like she's not concerned about her past, she's concerned where she's going, despite being unable to change anything about herself. It's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. So let's listen to this one more time, and let's really focus in on the video as well, because I think the video is kind of humorous.
How did she get so big?
Is that shading, or is that just like sweat? That's like a really odd sweat pattern. If that's sweat, that is like a really weird spot to have sweat.
Get so big? Why is she so fat? Here's a little secret.
Notice that there's no water or towel. And thank you, Kiwi Farms, for pointing this out. But there's an entire box of protein bars. An entire freaking box of protein bars. No water, no towel. An entire freaking box of protein bars.
I don't think.
And I just realized how much body fat she has on her behind, where she can't even put her feet down on the floor because her back is pushed up so high off the bench. This woman is really tall. So the fact that she can't get her feet on the floor is pretty shocking.
Think about what got me here. In fact, I try to waste as little time as.
And I think it's also kind of shocking how the bar completely disappears. Like you wouldn't even know it was there. You could if you edited this part out right here, you wouldn't even know there was a bar.
Possible. Thinking about things I
And again, is that sweat? Because that is a really weird spot to have sweat.
simply cannot change. This is where my body is right now.
That's the belt that doesn't fit.
And what I'm focused
Is this the leash that she wears?
on is how I can get to the next goal. I'm not wasting my time.
Just kind of looking at the gym behind her. She's always got one arm below the other. She never has her arms even. And I mean, that's not a good thing. You really want to work on symmetry.
Chasing my past.
She always has one arm above the other.
I'm investing everything in chasing my future.
Okay, so let's get back to the other topics here. Okay. So let me check your comments here. Let me catch up on your comments. I've kind of been ignoring you folks. My apologies. Just peeing on everything. Welcome in, Kidney J. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in tonight. Oh, absolutely, Nutty. Thank you so much. I'd love to have you. Love to have all the members. All the members here, very much appreciated. And if for some reason you can't, that's fine too. Memberships are appreciated, but they're never required. All of the content here is always visible to everybody. We do not. There's no required payment or donation or membership or anything to see the content, except for the monthly members only streams. And I'm going to be releasing some of those as well. I just have to. One of them is still restricted because of copyright claim, but when that's done, I should be able to release the rest of it. Let me just catch up on your comments here. Good question, Nirvana. She talks so much about her goals. Glitter, why don't you define your goals other than wanting to do a strong woman competition? Because doing the competition isn't really a goal in the sense that you could do the competition today. Like there's nothing that you've already achieved the goal of being eligible for the competition. You can go to the competition tomorrow. So I think a better goal would be to, a weight, try to set a weight to achieve, either weight loss or a weight max that you're trying to lift. Oh, great point, Nutty. I think if Glitter really thought about what got her to this point, I think she would just cry all day. Yeah, what is the next goal? I think the next goal is to get even bigger. Welcome in, Havasuma. Hope you're having a great night. Geez, nothing but junk food protein snacks. Oh, yes, and all that candy. Those smart sweets or whatever. I noticed that too. Her lifts she always seems to have one arm a little bit lower than the other. I mean, that's something that you can kind of get over time, but you really want to concentrate on eliminating that. Right? She just wants to take up space. That's it. Baby got back. Baby got some ribs. Oh, I did not see that one, Tina Kuntz. I need to get a look at that one. That one sounds really good. And welcome in, by the way. Hope you're having a great night. Be savage. Just like the Uncrustables, every 10 minutes of working out. Oh, gee, is everything okay? Have a sumam? Something. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry about that. Hearts in the chat for Havasu Mom and Lukey there. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Let's put some little hearts in the chat here. Hopefully you can get some better news as time goes on. All right. Let me catch up on the chat here a little bit. Oh, speaking of limits of her new body, let me show y'all a video. I got another video. I don't have too many, but I have one more good one here. Let me share this with you folks while I go read through the comments. So can I set this to loop? Oh, I can set this to loop. Okay. Let me close up some of these other videos real quick. Oh, no problem, Havasuman. It's all right. Believe me, that's far from dumping. It's okay to mention if she got a little problem. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with mentioning a little bit of real life once in a while, right? You know, I mean, there's a difference between dwelling on stuff and just mentioning it, right? But yeah, prayers for Luki. Okay, so glitter and lasers here. What do I like about this? Not a lot. I don't think there's any reason to be jumping when you're 500 plus pounds. I think that this right here, on one hand, this is impressive. I'll admit, I am impressed to see glitter and lasers getting off the ground at her body weight. At the same time, I think that she's setting herself up for a disaster. This is not safe. She should not be jumping at her body weight. Just climbing the stairs is more than enough activity for her at this point. I think that she's going to clip her toe on the bottom here and trip and land on her face. I mean, look at this jumping. She's making the jump, but she's hardly stable on these jumps. She does not have much room for error. If she's even 1 or 2 inches off, she's going to slam her toe right into the edge of that platform and land directly on her face. I also think that this is really stressful on her knees, on her hips, her ankles. There's no reason to be jumping at that body weight. So let me read the comment, what she has to say here. A little peek into a side goal I'm working on. So this is, I guess, one of her goals. There's a stair at the gym I want to be able to jump. Notice it's not a stair she wants to climb. It's a stair she literally wants to freaking jump. Each week I'm trying to increase my height a little bit. Well, I don't think that's smart, Glitter. I think that you should focus in on just, stepping, climbing, just climbing steps and just, working on standing on one foot and hopping and things like that. And so, yeah, having a variety of goals based on abilities helps me stay focused and always find a win in an active day. She is going to get hurt so badly. I don't know when. I don't know how long it's going to take. And she seems to have cockroach luck like Foodie has. But it's not possible to be that big and this reckless without getting hurt at some point. I think it's just a matter of time. What do you folks think? Must be painful on her knees. I agree, Nutty. Or she's going to trip and land on somebody else. And that's going to, that's not going to be fun for them. I'm not sure if I understand you exactly. A dead hang is kind of like doing a pull-up, but not doing the pull. But not doing the up. Just kind of jumping up like you're going to do a pull-up and just holding on and just hanging off. In fact, I think I could pull up the video. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull it up. I've got the video here. Just give me a second to pull this up. Let me switch the video real quick. Show this to you while I'm pulling this up. 1 second, folks. And we're going to start the interview in just a minute. Maybe a few minutes, but we'll be getting it started pretty soon. And that's going to be our main topic of the night, the Glitter and Lasers interview, which is hilarious. Oh my God, it's so good. We covered like 15 minutes of it last week, so we didn't really cover a lot of it. Let me see here. I've got yeah, here it is. Here's the video of her doing the hang. So here's Glitter hanging herself. Right? We can only wish. Let me turn off the music. So this is the dead hang. First off, this is just not an attractive look. This is just awful. Why doesn't she have something that covers her body a little bit more? She's always showing off her gut. And it's not attractive. I don't understand it. When you see a big fat guy and his butt crack is sticking out, I don't say, you go, bro. Yeah, you do it, homeboy. You show him. You show him that butt crack. Like, I don't cheer for guys with plumber's crack. Like, what? Why does she think that other, like, women are going to be happy to see her showing her body like this? This is not an attractive look. I don't get it. I just don't get it. If this is empowering, then I'd rather be a dead battery. I'm a boss. I'm a shine. I'm a boss. Like I'm a boss. I'm a boss, and I'm a boss. I'm a shine like I'm a boss. I'm a boss. What are these lyrics? I'm a boss. I'm a boss, and I'm a shine like I'm a boss, and I'm a boss. This is glitter. I think this is Glitter and Lasers. This is the thoughts in her head. We're reading her mind right here. These aren't song lyrics. This is like a stream of consciousness in her head. She's telling herself, I'm a boss, music, I'm a boss, music, I'm a boss, music. I've been the stallion, you've been the seahorse. Don't need a report. I wear the hat and I wear the pants. She wears the shorts and she doesn't wear the shirt that covers up. So I get advanced and do my dance and pee my pants. I mean, okay, this calls into question. I got to ask some of you folks in the chat if anybody has experience with connective tissue disorders, because that's been the word of the day, the word of the week. Glitter and Lasers has been talking about her connective tissue disorders lately. I've done a little bit of research on connective tissue disorders. I'm not an expert, far from it. In fact, this is a perfect time to put up my doctor's disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any official medical training. All I have is a little bit of anatomy knowledge, biology knowledge from school, that kind of thing. So what was I saying? Oh, yes, connective tissue disorders. Is this possible with a connective tissue disorder? Like, I heard that it makes it so your joints are like weak and more easily injured. And that's, I mean, I know there's more than one type of connective tissue disorder, but the ones that I searched up, they specifically mentioned a weakness in the joints and increased risk of injury. I cannot think of anything more likely to damage the shoulder joints, the elbows, and the wrists than this. Like, isn't this, if you have joint weakness, isn't this like the worst thing you could possibly do? Like, I just don't see how this is possible for somebody with weak joints. But maybe I don't understand it. Maybe her illness is different than everybody else's. Maybe the interview will explain that. Just gonna take a jump and just fly a mile through the air. Jolly Green, Gumby, any one of those, right? Oh, geez, I got to catch up on the chat. I'm so far behind again. I'm with you, Elizio. I do not dress to impress either. I'm sorry. My apologies, Nirvana. I play what on YouTube, right? That's really what matters. Like he really just wants, like he really just, imagine if he really hates her and he just was trying to hurt her. It's like, just, all right, yeah, here, Glitter, here, jump on this platform like 20 times, okay? I'll be back later. Like he really just wants her to fall on her face, just can't stand her. That's awesome, Elizu. And that is a fair point. Everybody's different. Some people have conditions that are, they affect them differently. Even the same condition can affect people differently. So I don't want to get too off on a tangent of what Glitter is capable and is not capable of. I don't know what's real with this woman. I really don't. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt on some things, but I just want to point this out. So maybe if anybody else has more knowledge than me, they can give a better analysis, because I don't really understand that subject as well as I maybe should to do this topic. So let me go to the vault here. I think I got one more vid. Let's see here. Oh no, I have a comment though that she posted. This is perfect. Here, in response, or this was the caption that she put for that video of doing of which she hanged herself. New achievement unlocked. Baby's first dead hang. Technically, I did do a short one before this, just to see if I could. Hang. Could she hang with the real Vikings? Technically, I did do a short one before this, just to see if I could hang. I actually was pretty convinced I couldn't. But shout out to my who pushes me to always give it a try before I say I can't. Excuse me, hold on a second. Drank my seltzer a little too quickly. Turns out that not only can I do dead hangs, I can do them for a pretty respectable amount of time. It's nice to have such a tangible result of all the training, hard work, and effort I've been putting in. Couldn't do this when I started, and now I can. First off, I'm not sure what Glitter could do when she first started. I'd be surprised. I just feel like she could probably do most of this from day one. That's the feeling I kind of get here. I feel like she's just relying on her natural talent in the sense that she has, her body is built for this. She has big hands, thick wrists, big arms, big shoulders, thick neck, wide hips, big, thick legs, all the things that you need to be good at strong woman, she has in that sense. So I do think that she's suited for this. I don't want to take that away from her. But I do also think that we need to see how much progress she makes and how much of this is just simply her natural ability. Because in a few months' time, we can really see that. But I think right now, we're just kind of seeing just her initial success. But who really knows? Good question. So let me pull up let me have one more comment from her, and then we're going to get to the interview. And this is a comment that somebody wrote to her that got deleted. This is when she was, I believe this woman here is the one who commented this. Please stop speaking like an authority. Strong men don't train with bumper plates. It makes no sense because Glitter and Lasers is always using bumper plates to lift. Bumper plates, for anybody not familiar, they're larger so that they cause the bar to sit higher off the ground because the plates are bigger. No advanced or intermediate lifter trains with bumper plates. It makes no sense. You lift with bumper plates because you are a beginner lifter, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a beginner and having to use shortened range of motion, but don't play it off as there being some other reason. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, this comment got deleted. So with that out of the way, let me pull up the interview, and we're going to get started on the interview for the night. All right.
People often think that we're slightly wrong.
All right, so we left off around 15 minutes in. We actually left a little bit past after this, but I think it's a good place to start. So just to give a little introduction for anybody not aware, let me read the introduction to this episode here. In this episode of More to Life, Elle, the host of the show, chats with creator and confidence queen Anna Obrien, aka Glitter and Lasers, co-host of the Medical Detectives podcast. Anna opens up about living with lipedema, what it is and how it's treated. She also shares the emotional toll of stigma and online trolling. Ooh, those nasty trolls! While reframing goals from weight loss to access, strength, and feeling good. Today they unpack the tight links between physical and mental health, while one-size-fits-all advice fails, and the power of self-trust, curiosity, and compassionate body connection. It's a candid, empowering conversation. It's a monologue for anyone navigating misunderstood health issues or body image. Okay, that's a callback from last week. Somebody thought that was funny, and I agree. I thought that was funny. It's a monologue. It's not a conversation.
Someone with lipedema. And even today, people still message, "Oh, you have lipedema." I'm like, "Girl, I've been covering this for a while." But
and how's the volume on this? Hopefully the balance is good. It's not too loud, too quiet. Let me know if you'd like me to adjust the volume on the show. I can.
To my page, maybe scroll back a little bit. You'll see. But
there's a lot more to me than just overdoing. Thank you.
Thank you. But because of what was said online, I always questioned if it was like a real thing because I was like, meh, no, no. And
We questioned it as well.
oh yeah, for all the way up because there's so much negative energy around this. And I think I have to be honest about that because I think every single person who lives with this condition has this grain of doubt in them until something happens where it's undeniable.
I'm going to rewind it just to drop more because I feel like this is a bad place to start it. She's talking about this condition she has. So let me rewind it so she can frame it a little better because I'm not sure which condition she's referring to. If she's referring to the lipedema or something else.
The only win for me, and this is the only reason I still talk about it, is that somewhere out there's a girl who's in stage 2 who can start, and I related to.
So she's talking about, I'm actually going to rewind just to drop more. So she's talking about lipedema, and here she's talking about how she claims she's gone through a lot of trolling and problems online because she's been so open about her situation. She's made a lot of money from her situation. Let me point that out as well. I don't think it's appropriate to go and harass people online. If somebody is living a private life, I don't think it's appropriate to go and dig up their social media and start blasting them in a public forum. If somebody's an influencer with millions of followers and they're a public figure, I think it's very different to hold them accountable to a standard they espouse. I think it's very different. So I just want to point that out. So when Anna claims that she's being trolled, I don't see that in the slightest. Oh, well, maybe a few people troll her, but it seems the vast majority of what she calls trolling are her own followers asking her to be accountable, asking her to live up to what she claims, asking her to be consistent with her statements and her actions. That's not trolling. Anna wants you to think it is, but it's not. So that out of the way, let's get back to it. She's talking about lipedema here, which is the condition that I mentioned earlier in the show, and I'll let her describe it.
The other conditions, and again, they are not the same, but just for the mental thought, when someone has cancer, people are not sitting around going, ha, caught you. You talked about cancer wrong. But with this condition, people are. And people will take, again, with a condition that's still very early in its research phase.
Yes.
There are a lot of doctors with different opinions in how to treat this, right?
Yeah.
So even then, people will get involved in these arguments. And it's at the end of the day, I'm the patient.
So I just wanted to, I mentioned this last week. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. But last week I mentioned this. She talks about how, the doctors don't even know for sure yet. It's still not understood that well yet. Then why do you argue with such certainty? If it's something that's not fully understood yet by science, then why do you argue about how everybody else is so ignorant of the science if you claim that even the scientists don't know the science yet? So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because if you want to hear my opinion on that, you can check into last week's episode.
Been covering this for a while, but welcome to my page. Maybe scroll back a little bit, you'll see. But
there's a lot more to me than just opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. But because of what was said online, I always questioned if it was like a real thing because I was like, meh, no, no. And
we questioned it as well.
Oh yeah, for all the way up because there's so much negative energy around this. And I think I have to be honest about that because I think every single person who lives with this condition has this grain of doubt in them until something happens where it's undeniable.
I mean, thank you, 50s wannabe, and welcome in. It is. I mean, we shouldn't even have to say it. But yes, of course, cancer is, I mean, and I'm not a doctor, definitely not a doctor, but I don't think you need to be a doctor to say this. Cancer is much more serious. Cancer is absolutely, cancer can be fatal. Let's say it like that. It's not always fatal. But cancer can very often be fatal. It's very serious. I don't think there's any debate if it's more serious than lipedema. So the way Anna is so glib in comparing the two, of course, yes, there are some similarities, but the differences are far greater than the similarities. So I think it's disingenuous for her to choose cancer as the point of comparison. And also, people do question a cancer diagnosis. Sad to say, the internet is full of cancer fakers. The internet is full of people who fake cancer. I wish it wasn't, but it is. People who say they have cancer as a way to scam money. So people have to be skeptical. It sucks, but we do. So for Anna to claim that people aren't skeptical of people who, when they say they have cancer, that's not true. People are skeptical of everyone nowadays. And that's not necessarily a good thing, but it is how it is.
Because of how polarized and how negative it is and how shitty people talk about it. And I hate to use that word, but it's monstrous. I went to a doctor in Houston who's an obesity disease specialist. We had me on a very specific diet. I was doing GLP-1 medication.
Great.
And I was
points.
trying to get my weight down because I just wanted to figure out why I was overweight, because I didn't feel like I should have been. She very much monitored me for a while. And she's, listen, all your
Right?
health signs have improved drastically.
Or maybe compared to being quadriplegic, something like that. You know, I think that would be good. That'd be another appropriate, right? She's relentless with this. Her hyperbole.
Just things aren't moving, and I don't understand why. I'm gonna do some stuff with you to see if you have lipedema. And she's, listen, you definitely have lipedema. I am now out of my depth. I know that I can diagnose it, but I cannot treat it. I don't know anything more than like the basics as.
And what frustrates me is say I can't treat it. Okay, fair enough. From what I've seen and from my own research, it can be difficult to treat it once it is gotten to a late stage. But you can prevent it. Maybe not prevent is the right word, but you can stop the spread. You could stop it from getting worse. That's something that I have done some research on. And they said that if once you do begin to develop lipedema, you gotta stop it. Don't let it get any worse, because it will get worse. And the way you could stop it from getting worse is stop gaining weight. And I'm not saying that to be glib. I'm saying that because that's simply the fact. You gotta, if you're continuing to gain weight while you have lipedema, your lipedema is going to get worse. Anna is in denial with that. So here she's talking about how, oh, well, I did go to a doctor because I did want to lose some weight because, I just wanted to see, wanted to know why I was so heavy because it didn't make sense why I was heavy. Why did it make sense? Do you really believe that you eat so little? I think this is worth pointing out. Anna said a moment ago that she went to the doctor because she wanted to know why she was so heavy. She didn't think it made sense why she was so heavy. Does she really believe she eats so little? Does she really believe that? Because that is absurd. I've seen how this woman eats. I can't remember ever seeing her eat what could be considered a dietetic portion of anything. So it's disingenuous for her to claim that she didn't know why she was overweight. She couldn't understand how she could be overweight.
My world, and it's something I'm definitely curious about and how it affects where we look at obesity as an illness versus, and I use the term illness very loosely. It doesn't mean you're sick or struggling because you're obese. It's more taking the blame and the shame of being overweight off of the individual and tying it to things like environment, genetics.
Wow. So hold on. So I love this. Like, so the real goal is to eliminate any potential accountability. Like we want to eliminate even the possibility of accountability. We don't even want you to consider that. Let's listen to this once again.
I use the term illness very loosely. It doesn't mean you're sick or struggling because you're obese. It's more taking the blame and the shame of being overweight off of the individual.
So she says she used the term illness, even though she doesn't really consider it an illness. She just says it's an illness because she wants to eliminate any blame or any accountability for being overweight. It has nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with the choices you make. It's nothing to do with the food you eat. It's everything that's out of your control. Anna helping people take their life back by denying, by eliminating accountability one step at a time.
Individual and tying it to things like environment, genetics, things like that, and beginning to really understand why are people in different body types. And I think that's
why are people in different, it's genetics, it's environment, it's all these other things. Now, in fairness, genetics can be a factor, environment can be a factor, but what absolutely is a factor is what we consume, is our activity levels. And those things can be impacted by environment. Certainly they can be. But a unhealthy environment if somebody is getting activity and eating healthy, it doesn't matter how unhealthy their environment is. It doesn't matter what kind of garbage the people around them eat. If somebody is choosing to eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, it's not really possible for them to stay fat. I mean, not for long, at least. So that's I think what Anna's kind of eliminating here. She's so in her effort to eliminate responsibility, she's also removed any agency. She's saying to you, you don't have the power to control any aspect of your health or your life. That's out of your control. So by taking away the guilt and the responsibility, she's also taking away your power. She's taking away your ability to help yourself. She's saying, no, don't feel bad, but also don't feel confident either. She's the confidence queen telling you to have no confidence in your own ability to change your circumstances. That's the queen of being pathetic.
Very important thing to distinguish here. You're not sick necessarily if you're obese. It's just understanding why it happens. Just medically it's put in this thing. And I think most people who research it also believe it's maybe not named the best. But anyway, it's a long time. I feel like I'm talking at you. I'm just
No. I think this is important. I really do. As somebody that knows people with lipidemia, knows what they've been through, yes, physically, but I think more so mentally, the struggle of how they have been perceived.
Well, Nutty, the problem is that those weight loss doctors are so ignorant, in Anna's opinion, that they only understand one way to deal with things. And they just think that losing weight and improving your diet, they think that that's some kind of, magical cure that does something. When in reality, what they need to do is give liposuction. That's the real treatment that's going to matter. That other stuff is just it's snake oil, calories in, calories. That's bull crap. Don't let anybody. I'm being sarcastic here, please. If anybody's recording this, please. No, I'm being sarcastic.
By people, how they've been treated by people, the bullying is another.
Literally 2 days ago, this man made a video where I had done this video for a cruise where I was like rolling and the wind blew me to the ocean, right?
Oh my God. Is this the one where you ran into the sea?
Yes.
Oh, me and the girl who works for me, Emily, me and her, we were loving it. We were literally like, this is the best video we've ever seen.
Some douchebag man, and I'm going to just call a spade in saying that.
You can say worse than that.
He picked up that video and stitched it and he said, maybe it should roll you here, fat ass. And it was him in the gym. Homeboy did not do his research, because one thing that if you do.
Actually, I remember I actually covered this statement last week, so I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. But this part right here, she has a fair point. But at the same time, if you want to be pedantic, the guy could say, well, you may be going to the gym, but you said yourself you're not seeking to lose any weight. So what's the point? So he would still be right either way. I mean, this is just Anna trying to be obnoxious. But thank you, Rory, with just a perfect summation here of Anna's and this element of Anna's personality that I think is what makes her interviews so entertaining, because she is the confidence queen. She truly has confidence in her own wisdom. That's one thing she has full confidence in. I don't think she has a lot of confidence in many things, but when it comes to her own intelligence, she thinks that she is flawless. Yes, if she has an opinion about something, she has to be right, and she has to share it. She cannot keep it to herself. Anna cannot keep her opinion to herself. She has to tell the whole world. She will set up these grandiose scripted gaslighting campaigns with paid actors. She believes in conspiracy theories as well. Good point. She thinks that it's easier for her to believe there's an entire conspiracy dedicated to keeping her overweight, keeping her obese, and trying to convince her that it's her fault. She thinks that there's this massive conspiracy going on. And the truth is that nothing she does matters, and she's always going to be fat, and that other people are just trying to make her feel guilty. That's all it is. It's insane. Let's let it keep going here.
Follow me and do just even scroll like one video, emotions.
Yeah.
When I look at people like that, who have a video that goes viral by accident where it's just them having joy and then people destroy them. And I go, why is this a form of humor that some people appreciate? And also, why is this allowed?
Why is this allowed? Why do people have the freedom to make jokes about public figures? How dare they? I think they should be jailed or at least fined if making jokes about people who make their living online. That should be a crime. What do you folks think? It should not be allowed. That's what Anna thinks. It should not be allowed. Maybe not a crime, but it should, at the very least, they should be able to kick you offline if you make a joke about somebody else, especially if they're just trying to live their life and make money off of their followers. How dare you make fun of somebody just trying to grift off of their followers?
You were to do this in a video that goes viral by accident where it's just them having joy and then people
just them having joy. No, these are videos where you're selling crap. These are sponsored videos, just you having joy. The joy of making money grifting. Yeah, making fun of somebody who's ripping off their followers, that's funny to me. That is funny. And should that be allowed? I don't think that's even a question if it should be allowed. I don't think anyone should have the right to deny that. I think it's an inalienable right to critique public figures.
Destroy them. And I go, why is this a form of humor that some people appreciate? And also, why is this allowed?
Yeah, why is this even allowed? This should just be illegal, right?
If you were to do this in a relationship, let's just think about domestic abuse. That would be considered verbal abuse.
Right? Like if you make fun of somebody online, that's like the same thing as verbally abusing your partner. It's like exactly the same. It's like lipedema is like cancer, and trolling online is like the same thing as abusing your spouse. It's exactly the same. All these online trolls are just a bunch of abusive boyfriends. And they should go to jail. Because that's where abusive men belong. Right?
You would be able to say, my husband verbally abused me. That could be something that would be used in a divorce hearing or a court case or even allowed.
You should be able to divorce your trolls. I think it's only fair. But we should get half of your assets. What do you folks think?
A restraining order.
Yeah.
What if you do the same thing online to a stranger? Nothing. You can't really do anything. Legally, there is no protection unless they threaten you.
Yeah.
So you can harass.
They legally, that's how terrible is that? That legally you can't have these people arrested unless they threaten you with if they just say like mean things, like you can't even have them arrested. How stupid are these laws, right? It's like they're written by people who just hate justice.
People as much as you want online with absolutely no restrictions. And with
absolutely no restrictions, because nobody has ever been banned. Nobody's ever been banned. Nobody's ever been kicked off of a website. There's no restrictions whatsoever. Does she really think everybody else is this stupid? I know some of you have asked the same question, so maybe I'm the one who's stupid for asking it again. It's just mind-boggling. She's such an authoritarian.
What's terrifying is that the social channels themselves love reaction content because everybody loves drama.
It's terrifying. They love reaction. Actually, they hate reaction content. They're constantly demonizing and demonetizing reaction content. So you're just blatantly wrong on that one, Anna. That's just factually incorrect.
So this is the content they promote. This is the content
No, this content is not promoted. You know what's promoted? Sponsored content. It's promoted by the definition of being sponsored. When something is sponsored, it is promoted. It's practically a synonym.
Serve to people. And I often say that I love social media. I think it does a lot of good. But
it made you a lot of money. What good does it do, Anna? What is the good of social media other than enabling you to not have to work a regular job? What else does it do that's good?
When you know what's driving our algorithms, it gets really scary because they don't actually think about our mental health. And
they don't actually think about our mental health. Who are they? Who are they? They don't actually think about our mental health. Whose job is it to think about your mental health, Anna? Who are they, and why do they need to be so concerned about your mental health? If you don't like the results of social media on your mental health, maybe you should stop using it.
And they don't think about how we see ourselves. And you and I have emotions of steel, but that's because we've been beat up 85,000 times.
Darn right.
And now we've just learned to deal with it. I don't want this. I don't think this is healthy that I'm so quote unquote resilient.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, she's just too tough for her own good. It's not healthy how strong she's had to become. She's had to become so darn strong, and that's not a good thing. It's not good how, right? Like, it's not fair.
I think that's sad.
Is it resilient? Is there a level of suppression there? And we know suppression doesn't go anywhere. I'm sure you have your days where you're like, I can handle anything, come at me. And then you'll have days where you're like, I'm done. I'm broken.
Yeah.
Really hope you're enjoying the More to Life podcast and all the incredible guests that we have on. We also have plenty of other exciting things happening in 2020.
And this host is fantastic. This host offers no pushback on anything. Just agrees with everything Anna says. Anna could say, I think they should just kill every single person who says something mean online. Absolutely, Anna. That's a brilliant suggestion.
The Elevate Day Wellness Festival is back on June the 12th. We also have a Spanish retreat and another retreat.
Goes along with having lipedema. Managing, I'm not going to, God, I'm like on tears now, girl. You got me on tears now. Why?
I've been watching you and I'm literally like, I'm on a little bit of a break there myself.
Well, you see, Elizu, it's because it hurts to be that strong. That's what you don't understand. When you're as tough as Anna, it hurts. It hurts to be so tough. And she's tired of being so strong. And she just doesn't want to have to be so strong anymore.
But here's the hardest part. 95% of the time, I am really great at managing my illness. I prioritize eating the right foods, working out, working towards my condition, doing my compression, all of those things. The 5%, I choose to just let myself
doing my compression. Can anybody remember the last time they saw her wearing that suit? Remember that big compression suit that she got that she said cost all that money, that had like the hoses coming out of it? It was like that big giant suit. And she said she was going to be wearing that like hours every day. She hasn't shown us that thing once. And she said that she was going to be showing that regularly to destigmatize wearing the suit. And she hasn't shown it to us in months.
Live normally without thinking about everything in the optics of how it will affect my condition. Every time I make those choices, I also have the emotional burden of knowing that when people talk shit about me, I'm going to take it to heart because I know they're right in that instance.
What? Huh? That is some real word salad. I got to rewind that one. I'm going to end up making this into 3 parts because this is so good.
Everything in the optics of how it will affect my condition. Every time I make those choices, I also have the emotional burden of knowing that when people talk shit about me, I'm going to take it to heart because I know they're right in that instance.
Huh? I'm still not understanding this. I got to try this one more time. Let's try this. All right, let's try this. Really, really listen carefully.
Tears now, girl. You got me on tears now. Why?
I've been watching you and I'm literally like, I'm on a little bit of a break there myself.
But here's the hardest part.
All right, here's the hardest part. The hardest part is understanding this word salad. This is the only salad that Anna ever serves, and it's a bittersweet.
95% of the time, I am really great at managing my illness. Okay. I prioritize eating the right foods, working out.
So 95% of the time, she eats the right foods and works out. Press X to doubt.
Working towards my condition, doing my compression, all of those things. The 5%, I choose to just let myself live normally without thinking about everything in the optics of how it will affect my condition.
So I love how she refers to living, quote, normally is not taking care of herself. 95% of the time, she does the right thing. She eats the right thing. She exercises. She does the right thing 95% of the time. But if 5% of the time she lives normally, that doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't normal be what you're doing 95% of the time? And what you're doing 5% of the time is what's abnormal, right? So why is it that if you say that living normally, you're only living normally 5% of the time? that shows that you don't consider that to be normal. Because if you really thought it was living, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. It shows that what you say you normally do is not what you normally do. Because you call living normally eating whatever the hell you want, not exercising, not taking your compression treatments. That's what you call living normally. Listen to what she just said. She said the 5% of the time when she doesn't do what she's supposed to is when she's, quote, living normally. Did you hear that? I think that's a really interesting point she just made. So she's living normally when she's not doing the right thing, even though she's, quote, doing the right thing 95% of the time. Let's listen to this again.
Watching you, and I'm literally like, I'm on a little bit of a break there myself.
But here's the hardest part. 95% of the time, I am really great at managing my illness. I prioritize eating the right foods, working out.
So 95% of the time, she's perfect, she's saying.
Working towards my condition, doing my compression, all of those things. The 5%, I choose to just let myself live normally without.
The 5% of the time I choose to live normally. If that's living normally, if you only do it 5% of the time, it's not what's normal. You can't call living normally if you only do it 5% of the time. Which is it, Anna? Is it living normally or is it only 5% of the time? Which is it? She really doesn't watch it. She's not as smart as she thinks she is because she keeps giving away her actual thoughts in her efforts to obfuscate.
Out thinking about everything in the optics of how it will affect my condition. Every time I make those choices, I also have the emotional burden of knowing that when people talk shit about me, I'm going to take it to heart because I know they're right in that instance.
Yes, I did.
Which
that was
is
a good
really effed up thinking. Like I'm working on dealing with that.
Oh, by the way, if anybody, Elizu, if you want to post, or anybody, if you want to, or any of my mods, if you want to post a link to Kate Winslet's channel, my favorite meme channel. If anybody's not subscribed over there, definitely give her a sub. She is such amazing memes. All the Girl Worlders, but especially her Glitter and Lasers memes are just so good.
But I should be able to eat a cookie once a week and not think about, oh no, you're right, I shouldn't have had this.
Does she really want us to believe she eats a cookie once a week? Did she just say that she should be allowed to eat a cookie once a week? Anna, you eat a cookie once a week. That's not true though. You're just outright lying. You eat cookies every day. You eat healthy once a week, and you want to pretend you eat a cookie once a week? You are so full of crap. Okay, let me take a moment here to thank all the channel members. I thanked them earlier, but let me show the little video real quick. I'd like to thank all of the channel members, all the Tier 1 members. You're all very much appreciated. Your membership entitles you to membership entitles you to attend the monthly members only stream, which will be the last weekend of every month. And I'd also like to single out and thank the Tier 2 members of this channel, which at this time are Canada Cool and Hippie East. Thank you so much for your Tier 2 memberships. You're very much appreciated. With that said, let's get back to the show.
And that is something I never thought about before being a creator. And I will say the stress and the anxiety that came from being a figure, and I hate calling myself a public figure, but I don't know what else to say.
Oh. Hate calling yourself a public figure. Why? Because you hate acknowledging that you don't have the privacy you claim is being violated? You're not entitled to the level of privacy you claim that you should have?
Has negatively impacted my health to some extent. But at the same time, it's put me in a position to actually do something about what I live with. And so there's this catch-22 where I win and I lose every day.
Yeah.
There really is no jackpot that I ever get because everything I get, I also spend in the same day. And I don't think people...
What? Huh? She is just so... First of all, Anna is so incredibly hyperbolic that you can't really take anything she says at face value. So that makes it very hard to interpret her.
People realize that about a lot of creators that talk about health or mental health or just anything that is misunderstood.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything.
The host has no concept what she's talking about. Did you hear that? Yeah. Yeah. The host did not understand what Anna just said, because I didn't understand it either. Let's listen to this again.
About what I live with. And so there's this catch-22 where like I win and I lose every day.
Yeah.
There really is no like jackpot that I ever get, because everything I get, I also spend in the same day. And
You poor woman, you're such a victim.
I don't think people realize that about a lot of creators that talk about health or mental health or just anything that is misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
In health, nutrition, well-being, wellness. I come from an eating disorder background and I've done my studies, and I'm like, hold on a minute. You're one trainer, doctor is telling me one thing, one trainer, doctor is telling me another. Hold on, which one's right? Like, I can come from my own personal experience, which is quite extensive, which I think is sometimes just the best. But absolutely.
I would argue it is the best. I would say I think there's two big problems that plague us in online. This is some deep thoughts. So sit down and take it.
Sit down, everyone.
Oh, I got a super chat here from Capricorn Ed J, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Capricorn Ed J. Very much appreciated. Capricorn says, I don't get how anyone can view her history on YouTube and then have her on their show as a credible guest. It makes no sense to me. I agree with you, Capricorn. My guess is that this channel here is not familiar with Anna on YouTube. She sounds like she isn't really too familiar with her. At the same time, this host sounds like somebody who would agree with anything she says. I mean, I haven't heard any pushback on anything. Everything Anna says, this host agrees with. So, I mean, I think we're kind of just getting a very shallow host here. No disrespect to the woman, but it feels like a very shallow level of interview. But thank you for the super chat. I think it's a very good point that somebody who really does follow Anna would not be able to host the show that way. I mean, and I mean, she might as well be, right? Like how the heck is she able to listen to this crap?
Oh God,
this is my thesis. This is my thesis in the recent weeks. The world suffers from this idea of a single right. And the reality is, when it comes to health, when it comes to self-care, when it comes to thriving, there is no single truth. My best choices are not going to be your best choices.
Now, this is something that actually, I mean, if you want to be philosophical here, I think this is a fair point. I'm a big believer in individualizing health programs. I think a big mistake is a lot of programs are too generic. I think that people tend to either be people who have difficulty gaining weight or difficulty losing weight. People typically are one or the other. And it feels like a lot of programs are written they kind of just split the difference. They're like, well, if some people need, to drastically cut their calories, other people need to drastically increase their calories. Let's go for a number in the middle and say that's good for everybody. And I don't think that works. I think that one size fits all approach is ineffective. You have to work with your needs. That out of the way, I don't think Glitter and Lasers is concerned with her needs or anybody else's needs. I think she's just trying to throw up a smokescreen here and say, well, everybody needs something different, so you don't really know what I need, so you can't say what I'm doing is wrong if you don't really know. She's just throwing up a smokescreen. I don't think this is really a situation where she's serious about, well, my needs are different because of this or that. She's just making excuses.
And the reality is, like, when we are looking, especially people with chronic illnesses and autoimmune conditions, I have had girls say to me, weightlifting has changed my life. It's improved my joint structure. It's made my joints more resilient. And I've had people say, weightlifting inflames me. It causes problems. You shouldn't be lifting weights. I, as an individual, have to lift weights and decide what that does to my body. Because whether it's true for them doesn't mean it's going to be true for me. Mm-hmm. And a good doctor is not going to prescribe a solution to you. They're going to test and find out what actually works.
Okay, so this raises the question. Anna, have you actually gone to a doctor and discussed your weightlifting? Like, what does your doctor think about this? What does your doctor think about all this jumping that you're doing? What does your doctor think about all of the weighted carries that you're doing? Does your doctor approve of this? Does your doctor think this is good for your long-term health? Or is this something that you've just decided on your own, right? I think it's worth pointing out. Her resilient joints. Right? Very good point. Let's let it keep going here. This is getting a little slow.
So I think all of this talking about you should and you should is a waste of fucking time. There, it came out, finally dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah.
What we should be doing is building systems for testing and learning about our bodies at an early age. Because we learn this right.
What the heck does she mean? Systems for testing and learning about our bodies. Isn't that what gym class is? Like having everybody run a mile and see how long it takes? Seeing how many sit-ups you can do in a minute? Like, isn't that like the way we always tested people?
Right or wrongism from childhood.
Yeah.
And that is not actually listening to your body. That is listening to a textbook. That is listening to, actually, oftentimes not even academic research, personal, someone else's lived experience.
I think so too.
And applying it to your own life. And it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, completely. It is. I'm writing a book at the moment.
Oh, welcome in. And thank you so much. J.H. Marine Morals, glad to have you. Or Marais, glad to have you in. And it is so fascinating. The deep denial she is in is so interesting. It always throws the content to prove it. She's going on with the platitudes. She is. I love these interviews she does because she will just talk and talk and talk. She will tell us everything she's thinking.
Moment, and that is repeated throughout it. Take what I'm saying, try it, or decide it's not for you. You literally have to try different forms of therapy. There's not one therapy that's going to work for somebody. Try lots of different ones or whatever. Same exactly what you're saying with exercise.
It's so interesting because and even if you talk to, because of the Medical Detectives, which is the podcast I have that talks about rare illnesses with women, this is something that's repeated in all different types of conditions. And even when we've had doctors come on, they'll say, when you get diagnosed with disease, it's like a group of symptoms. It's not like you don't have a universal treatment plan. All cancer is the same. We don't treat all autoimmune illnesses the same. We don't treat, even within one autoimmune disease, we don't treat it the same all the way. There are all these splinterings of conditions. And so at the end of the day, it's about treating your actual health issues and learning what works for you. And so once you learn that, and you have to learn that as a deep truth through your own experience, which sucks because you're going to do all the things wrong no matter what until you get there. Once you learn that, then you actually start healing.
But this is, okay, I have to just kind of call this out a little bit. This sounds very nice, but this sounds like a tremendous overcomplication of the reality of, just eat healthy, get some exercise, the weight's going to come off. It's not rocket science. There's not that much research necessary. At least not for the vast majority of people. Maybe some people have some very specific needs. Maybe they have conditions that require special accommodation. But for the average person, diet and exercise is all that's necessary to get healthy. So I think she's acting like there's this entire secret, program of activities and special nutrition that's required, and it's this mystery that has to be unlocked for every person. And for most people, a basic program of diet and exercise is going to work.
Because you can actually start learning to listen to, how does my body respond to this?
Yeah.
Is it responding well or bad? But until you trust yourself, which we're taught the whole time not to trust ourselves, you can't get to that point of actually moving forward.
Yeah. Trust, having that belief in yourself that maybe, just maybe, I actually do have the answer inside of me. If I cut out the noise from what everyone else thinks, from parents to teachers to doctors, and I tune in and I really listen and I become a present, conscious person, maybe I'll find the solution.
Yes. And also finding doctors that also think that way. If your doctor's not, I remember when I first went into
now she's going to say that if your doctor believes in traditional health science, don't listen to them. If your doctor thinks that you can lose weight by dieting and exercise, don't listen to them.
A doctor on my health journey, and I walked in, and I'll be honest, this is a hard thing to say, but I'll say it. There are certain weights on the human body where it does affect your health. And I'm not talking about like 20.
What? What? Did Anna just, did I hear what, okay, I got to pinch myself here. Did Anna just admit something that's scientifically accurate? Like something verifiable? Let's hear this again. Did she acknowledge that there's a level of obesity which affects your health?
There's not. I remember when I first went into my doctor on my health journey, and I walked in, and I'll be honest, this is a hard thing to say, but I'll say it. There are certain weights on the human body where it does affect your health.
Why is that a hard thing to say? Why is that a hard thing to say? Why is it so hard to admit that? Like, why are you so in denial that even just acknowledging a basic fact is hard for you? That says a lot.
And I'm not talking about like 20 to 50 pounds overweight, and I'm not trying to be body shaming in any way, because sometimes those weights are unavoidable, but they do start to limit your access to things, right? And I think we can't deny that access to human experience does affect your health. Whether you can do something or not do it affects your health in a variety of ways. So I went to the doctor looking to lose some weight.
She is so disconnected from basic science, where she says, well, I mean, your ability to do things is connected to your health. It's like, it's so hard for her just to acknowledge things like high blood pressure and diabetes exist. Like, isn't that enough?
In order to regain access to some things that I had lost.
Yes.
And
what things had you lost, Anna? I thought you were still running like 3 miles a day. Like, what could you have possibly lost?
And I sat down and I was like, give me a GLP-1. I hadn't been to the doctor in like forever. And I'm like, just give me the shot. I'll do it. My doctor looked me straight in the eye and he was like, I can't do that. I have no clue what's going on in your body. I am not giving you a medication. We're going to run a bunch of tests and then we'll see if this is the solution you need. And while I eventually did end up on a GLP-1 for very different reasons.
Oh, I love this. Her insinuation that, well, just coincidentally, even though the doctor said I didn't need it to lose weight, I did need it for inflammation. Since when did they decide that GLP-1s are the answer for inflammation? Because if that's something they've decided on, that must be something fairly recent. But she's been on these for inflammation for a long time, according to her. So, I mean, I guess you could say that maybe some doctors thought of that a long time ago. But it just feels very coincidental that he decided to put her on a GLP-1 when she wanted to be on one for weight loss, but just for a completely different reason.
Her joint inflammation, which is hilarious. What we found from that medical testing is I had chronic, very severe I had several autoimmune diseases that were untreated. And there are doctors that would have just given me the shot.
Oh, yes.
My thinking is I'm so lucky that he didn't.
Mm.
And it's now become something that I really talk about. If you want to explore that, that's fine, but make sure that your doctor actually cares about your health and not just your waistline.
Oh my goodness. What an inverted sense of reality. Make sure your doctor cares about your health and not just your weight. Because the average doctor really just cares about how you look. They don't care if you're healthy. They just don't want you to wear, oversized clothes. They think you look ugly. That's the real reason they want you to lose weight. It's nothing to do with health. They just don't want you to have a big waistline because it makes them, feel icky to look at you. No, Anna, do you realize how absurd is that logic? That find a doctor who actually cares about your health and not just about your waist. That makes no sense. That makes no freaking sense. What doctor only cares about I don't care about your health. I just don't like you being fat because I don't like fat people. Like, what? Does she really believe this? Yes, why am I saying that? Of course she believes this. Of course she believes this crap.
Because my waistline would not have fixed chronic anemia. It would not have fixed chronic vitamin D deficiency. It would not have fixed the fact that my body doesn't absorb B12 properly. Like, it would not have fixed.
Actually, Anna, that's not entirely true, because your waistline is what, as you like to refer to it, is a result of poor diet. vitamin B deficiency, anemia, vitamin D deficiency. It's very possible that your diet is the cause of a lot of those things. And for you to say that your diet is entirely unrelated to all of your health issues is more unbelievable than the alternative.
Those things would not have fixed my Hashimoto's, would not have fixed my Ehlers-Danlos.
If you have conditions that cause joint weakness, how does having more weight on those joints not impact that illness? If you have an issue with joint weakness, if you have to carry a lot of extra weight on those joints, your joints are going to have a lot more pressure put on them. That's unless I'm misunderstanding the nature of the illness. But it's hard to imagine how putting all the additional stress on the body wouldn't have an impact. And that's a great point, JH. Diet, exercise, rest, no matter what somebody believes as far as their personal health regimen or the medicines or whatever they choose to take, diet, exercise, and rest are universal. At least I think they are. Pretty sure they are. I can't think of anybody who doesn't encourage those.
So all of these things needed to be treated, and they were a definite priority to anything related to my weight. And I would argue led to my body changing because, again, once you feel better,
Right?
you can move more. And when you can move more, sometimes your body just adapts to what you.
How much more could you move? I thought you were walking 3 miles a day. Like, that's one thing I want to put into perspective here. For anybody who hasn't listened to Anna for a long time, before she began her weightlifting saga, she was a long distance walker. Or excuse me, she called herself a high altitude hiker. Was that what she called herself? She claimed to have done a 10-mile hike at high altitudes just like a month before she started her weightlifting journey. She claimed to be walking 3 miles at a clip, 2 to 3 miles at a time. I think 4 to 5 days a week. So when she says that there were things she couldn't do because of her weight, I'd be interested to know what they are. Because she said that even at her heaviest, she was still walking 3 miles at a time in high altitudes. So what couldn't you do? Like, you're Superwoman. You could do everything. What do you mean you couldn't do something?
You want to do. So we have this perception that I need to lose weight to move.
Yeah.
But maybe you need to treat your health so that you can move, and then your body will meet you where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually taking that focus away from the weight loss and focusing onto, okay, let's do something that I get joy from.
That's a great point, Nalisa. I didn't even really consider that. But alcoholism and anemia, she doesn't even consider, she really doesn't even consider that alcoholism, or forget alcoholism, even just alcohol consumption, excessive consumption can cause a lot of that stuff. And poor diet, she's leaving out half of the story.
Let's find something that I'm going to enjoy. Let's get stronger. You mentioned strong earlier. Let's get stronger. Or let's, like you said, I want to get healthier so I can get access to something, whatever it is. But just taking that fixation away from the weight loss.
Yeah, it's actually been really helpful for me if you really need a measure, if that's a thing you need. And I don't know if they have these in the UK, but it's been good for me. I don't track my weight specifically, but I do track my muscle mass.
Yeah.
And my ratio of fat to muscle. So my goal is to increase my muscle as much as possible. And I use DEXA scans. So they allow—
What? She doesn't track her weight, but she tracks her muscle mass? How does that work? How do you track your muscle mass? Now, let me hear this again, because I may have misheard her. How does she only track her muscle mass without tracking her body fat?
So I can get access to something, whatever it is, but just taking that fixation away from the weight loss.
Yeah, it's actually been really helpful for me if you really need a measure, if that's a thing you need. And I don't know if they have these in the UK, but it's been good for me. I don't track my weight specifically, but I do track my muscle mass.
Because it's so much easier just to track your muscle mass, so much more accurate to track your muscle mass than it is to just track your weight. This makes zero sense. This makes zero sense. She's doing everything the hardest way possible. It's like making 3 right turns instead of a left.
Yeah.
and my ratio of fat to muscle. So my goal is to increase my muscle as much as possible.
You know what else you could do, Anna? You could just decrease your weight. Or you know what else you could do? If your clothes get looser, but your weight stays the same, that would also tell you if you've lost fat. Or you could just see how your clothes fit. If you lose an inch off your waist, it probably wasn't muscle that you lost.
And I use DEXA scans. So they allow you to see your bone density. They allow you to see your muscle growth.
Can you see how dense your skull is? Because I think that is the only area where it's especially impressive.
And so that way you can say, okay, I'm not going to look at the number on the weight. That doesn't matter to me. But did I grow muscle this?
I'm not going to look at the weight on the number. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter how. Why? Why doesn't her weight matter to her? I don't believe that. Your weight does matter to you, Anna. You've just given up on it. You've given up on yourself. That's the truth. You've given up. You're not, because you keep talking about how you don't want to know your weight and how you don't care about your weight. Why though? If you have the ability to control everything in your life and you have all this power over yourself, why don't you want to change your weight? You have all this control. You have all this ability to affect your body. You can make it do whatever you want. You know, you've got control over your health now. So why do you want to be so big? What does being so heavy get you? Does it get you a lot of attention online? Is that the reason you do it?
This month. Did I improve my bone density? Okay, these are things I can really be excited about because they are directly related to my health.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I think, again, taking away weight as the ultimate indicator of your health, what things can you move? Also looking at things like working on your cholesterol or your blood pressure or these things that really do limit and affect you and your abilities to exist.
Okay, so there a grain of truth gets added. It says, well, you can look at your blood pressure and things like that, your cholesterol, that those actually affect you. But those are all related to your weight. Those are all tied together. You know what you could do instead of taking a blood test and having to take a fasted blood test and having to take series of blood tests, you could just weigh yourself once a day. Or you know what? You don't even have to weigh yourself. You can just measure yourself. See how your clothes fit. Oh, but God forbid that tells you the truth, and the truth isn't what you want to hear.
But instead, when we talk about being overweight, we only talk about the weight. We only talk about, oh my goodness, this person is fat. And I know plenty of fat people with great cholesterol.
We only talk about this person. No, we don't. No, we don't. All the time we say things like, well, how's your blood sugar? How's your blood pressure? Well, this person may be heavy, but they're in good shape. Nobody is so ignorant as to discount the effect of diet and exercise. Oh, wait a minute, Glitter, except for you. You think that's
great A1Cs, great indicators otherwise. I know some amazing athletes that are considered fat. So the weight,
I'd love to see pictures of these athletes,
is not a great indicator of all these other things. But if you...
No, it really is a pretty good indicator. Where did you get that weight's not a good indicator? Nothing that you just said contradicted that.
Are feeling like shit and you are overweight, maybe there's some correlation between that. Like maybe something else is going on and you're just...
She misspoke, but she actually just said the opposite of what she's trying to. She just said that maybe there's a correlation between feeling bad and being overweight. I know she didn't mean to say it, but she just said it by accident, which is kind of funny. Let's listen to that.
So the weight is not a great indicator of all these other things. But if you are feeling like shit and you are overweight, maybe there's some correlation.
So if you're feeling like shit and you're overweight, maybe there's some correlation. I know she didn't mean to say that, but that's like actually the truth.
Between that, like maybe something else is going on and you're just stuck looking at your weight.
Yeah. Yeah. And this falls a lot into like health at every size, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think with health at every size, the important thing about that phrase is health, right? And I see a lot of women who are like, I'm just plus size. And I'm like, great, be plus size, but go to the doctor. Make sure you're balanced with all of these other things because you have to do the health part. And I think,
oh my goodness, Glitter, are you, how dare you? That is such hypocrisy. After everything you preached, after the outright medical misinformation that you consistently preached, you're going to tell people now that if they want to say they're healthy, they should go to a doctor and get some verification. I mean, I guess that's true, but it just feels like complete hypocrisy for you to tell people now, oh, well, if you are going to be overweight, just go to the doctor and make sure your numbers are good.
That's where I think we are failing plus size individuals just in general, is because you are plus size and you feel healthy does not exempt you from the same health things that everyone else has to do. Get your pap smears, get your physicals, get your annual blood works, get all of these things done, truly manage your health and be plus size.
You're talking out of both sides of your butt, Glitter. I know your butt's really big, but still, you shouldn't do that.
I don't care about that. And nor do I think anybody should care about anyone else's size. But I think when we talk about health at every size, it's more than just talking about the size. It's also talking about the health. And that's where I think we fail. Because if it's not safe for a plus size individual to go to the doctor, if they go to that waiting room and they don't even have a chair that they can sit in, if they have a nurse who judges them for their weight the first 5 seconds they're in there, if there's a person who starts prescribing the medical treatment without even looking at their blood work, how do they even have access to health?
Yeah. I'm quite enjoying your response to this because I think a lot of health at every size is focused on the mental. So if I'm a plus size and I'm mentally okay with that, but like you're saying, there's still an element of health that needs to come into it.
And I also think that for best mental health is also physical health. And I say this very candidly. We act like physical and mental health are two different things.
Yeah.
They are the same thing.
Yeah.
You cannot be at your best.
Well, they're certainly related. And I just wanted to put up here a picture of a 500-pound athlete here on the right. We got Andre the Giant, who was listed at, I think, 500 pounds. Hulk Hogan here on the left. I know these are very fuzzy pictures. I think he was listed at 270. And Andre, that should give you some idea of approximate body weights. Andre was listed at 500, I believe. Just to put it into perspective. So Anna's bigger than Andre the Giant, on the scale at least.
Mental health, if you're not at your best physical health. And physical health looks different for every person. There is no like magical gold star you get. But I think that I don't believe you can be at 100% good mental health if you aren't balanced all those things in your body. And again, I'm not preaching a size with this. I'm not preaching like a gold star moment you have to get. But I think we have to stop acting like these are two different things. Because I've heard people say, I'm happy at my size, and for my mental health, I don't go to the doctor. And all I can think is, that's exactly why you should go to the doctor. It's because your mental health kind of depends on it. And I'll give you some examples. If you are not right in some of your values, it can cause increased depression. It can cause increased body dysmorphia. It can create sadness. It can create desire to isolate. If your hormones aren't right, it can create all different types of issues that you get on like, for example, I got on thyroid medication. All of a sudden, my depression is magically cured.
Her depression is magically cured? Really? Really? Is that really true, Glitter? So you're not taking any other antidepressants now? You don't have depression anymore? All right. Maybe that's what Foodie Beauty needs.
So I could have been on a depressive medication from a psychiatrist, or I could have treated the root issue.
Yes.
And gotten double benefit. So like they're not separate.
So her thyroid, so she needs thyroid medication, but why is she having thyroid issues unless she's in if she's in otherwise good health, why is she having so many thyroid issues? It's just it seems like she has a lot of health issues for somebody who claims to be so healthy.
And the sad part is we talk about them like they are, but like they are oftentimes, and we see this all the time on our podcast on the Medical Detectives, where women are treated for a psychiatric issue. And the root issue is much scarier and much more long-term damaging and takes forever to get diagnosed because we get caught up with how we feel emotionally. And we just treat how we feel emotionally. And we forget that our body does all kinds of weird stuff and it affects how our minds work.
Actually, you know what? There's a grain of, even a broken clock can be right twice a day. And I think she actually makes a really good point there that going to therapy is great, but therapy doesn't act, if there's something that's wrong with you, therapy's not necessarily going to fix it. Like therapy will help you deal with it. But if there's something wrong with you, you might need to fix it. And it's not just a matter of learning to cope. It might actually be something that you need to fix. So I think that's a great point she makes. I don't know if that's something she came up with on her own, but I actually agree with Anna for once. I think she makes a good point with that.
Our bodies are super weird.
Yeah.
And whenever anything's wrong, they're like, oh, I hate myself. Because they're trying to send you a signal to say, listen, something's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. How can it be separate when our whole body is connected? If our head wasn't connected to our body, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you know what? There's this clear gap. But we are connected. If you even look at our hormones and the signaling that goes on within the body, like it is all connected. And when you see something, you have a physical, if you see something that is maybe a bit triggering or somebody that you haven't seen for a while, you have the physical effect.
And let me make that clear. I do think Anna should go see a therapist, a psychiatrist, whatever. I'm not like a big proponent for therapy in general, but I think she would be a good candidate. I think she's somebody who probably would help. I feel like she's just very out of touch with herself, very out of touch with people around her. She's just very out of touch with people in general. I think she's out of touch with her own emotions.
In your stomach.
She has no insight. That's what I feel. I feel Anna has no insight to herself, and maybe therapy could give her that.
They are linked completely.
Well, and people have psychiatric issues that lead to physical ailments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you, like, people have psychosomatic illnesses all the time. The opposite is also true, where we have psychiatric issues due to physical ailments. So you cannot treat it in a bubble. And I think, again, this is another area where I think we fail people in bigger bodies, is because we ultimately always view being overweight as an example of a psychiatric issue. Mm-hmm. We talk about plus size people as though they are mentally unstable.
Okay, well now it's, like I said, broken clock. Anna now is going back to making no sense again. And in fairness, not everybody who's overweight has mental issues. That's true. But I think that once you get over a certain size, I think that it's much more likely to have a mental component to it as well. I think if you're a little bit overweight, that could be very normal. But I think that somebody who's 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds overweight, there's very likely to be a psychological component as well. And I think Anna's doing people a disservice by dismissing that.
And that is why they are overweight.
Yeah.
We talk about them as though they're lazy, they're unmotivated, they're depressed, they hate themselves. That's how we talk about bigger bodies.
Yeah.
Anna, I don't believe that you're truly happy with yourself. I do believe you're depressed. I do think you don't care for yourself. And I think it does come down to you being so huge that you've negatively impacted your entire life. I know that I've struggled with weight myself. Most people in the chat know this. And I certainly was a lot more negative about myself when I was a lot heavier. Was not anywhere near as heavy as Anna is, and I was still very negative about myself. So I can only imagine how she feels.
So we reduce it to a psychiatric issue, and then we punish them for that issue. Meanwhile, we're not providing the adequate care to get to the root of why some people are this way.
Yeah, because here, even though what you're saying here about a psychiatric issue, when somebody might get help, they'll just be put on a diet. So they won't even get the mental health support, to be honest. They'll get, okay, let's put you on an exercise and food restriction plan.
I think that's inaccurate. I think that's a very out of date mindset. I think that nowadays, when you see like the Doctor Now and you see those programs for people who are very, very obese, they almost always include a mental health component as well, at least from what I've seen.
It just doesn't work.
The reality is it will work for some people. For some people, that's what they need. Again, everything for every person. What happens is for the 1% that it works for, we put them up on these tiny little pedestals and they're like, of course this works. It worked for this.
It's not 1%.
One person, one time.
And
therefore,
for 3 months.
Yeah, for 3 months. Therefore, it must work for every single person on the planet, regardless of their composition, mental health, environmental, and financial situation. One person with all of the resources in the world did it. So you should be able to do it. And I
Yeah.
think this is, and then some of those people,
That's just not accurate, though, because you see people with very difficult circumstances who still make incredible health accomplishments, and it may be more difficult, but that only makes it more impressive.
who lose all that weight are so troubled mentally still. You hear a lot about body dysmorphia in the weight loss world
Yeah.
and feeling completely disconnected from their body. And it's okay.
Feeling completely, Anna, you're going to say that somebody else feels completely disconnected from their body? The lipedema warrior whose body betrayed her is going to say that that people in the fitness community experience body dysmorphia and they are disconnected from their body? Anna, your mouth is betraying you. I know your body betrays you, but now your mouth is betraying you as well.
What if we started connecting people to their bodies and
Yeah.
as they changed,
How about if you start doing that? How about you connect yourself to your body, Anna?
there wouldn't be this like, holy crap, I don't know this thing that I live in.
Yeah.
Again, complicated problems, I don't have the solutions. I'm very good at pointing out the issues with them.
Yeah. And then that person who's lost the weight will be heavily congratulated by everyone around them, which then creates this enormous fear of what if I ever go back because everyone seems to prefer me smaller. And then when you live there,
Anna is also a pretty big person. I agree with you. I think that especially for another female, I think she'd be intimidating to a female. I mean, as a man, I'm not physically intimidated by her, but I could see her being intimidating in other ways. I could see her being very threatening to call the police, threatening to to lawsuits, that kind of stuff. I mean, I wouldn't want to get in a dispute with her. She seems like a very aggressive and unpleasant person, even in the best of times.
live with rigid rules and controlling, and you've got no flexibility. And then again, you come back to disconnect.
Yeah, it becomes a machine rather than your body. And then how can you relate to and understand and recognize this as your body when you've literally compartmentalized it into, I put the fuel into the machine, runs and does the things.
She is so hypocritical. She's going to talk about compartmentalizing your body when she talks about stuff like her body betrayed her and, well, my body won't allow me to do things and my body did this and I need to get to know my body again. And all she talks about is her body this and her body that and herself and her body and she's going to talk about people who are healthy need to get in touch with their bodies. This woman is just beyond delusional. I'm getting redundant now.
It's just, I hear people say, like, my body is just a box. No.
Your body is just a box. Isn't that what you say, Anna? That your body, that you are yourself and your body is just your, how does she refer to it?
I used to say that, like a body is just a container. No.
Okay, hold on a second now. Did Anna have a revelation?
That is such a depressing way. Yes, your spirit and emotional side is one thing, but like, I look at my body and it's changed a bit. And I feel like I have been able to stay connected and honestly grateful to my body through the whole process. But because of that, I look back at where I was before I had my lipedema removal surgeries and before I was able to be active again. And I look at what I did and I'm like, man, my body kept showing up for me.
Wow, this is like the most positive thing I've ever heard from this woman. This is genuinely like a positive thing. Like, I'm not gonna get too excited, but I actually really like hearing this.
Every day when it was super hard. And I look at that and I say, I'm just trying to make it easier for my body. And it's a very different way to look at it. And I think it's hard because sometimes I really do want to celebrate that I've done this work and my body's changed and I feel good in my body.
Yeah.
But I also understand that can be incredibly triggering to people because of everything that's out there. And I just don't know if we're in a world yet where you can have both. And it sucks because I am proud of the work I've done to change my body. And it has been slow and intentionally very slow because I'm not making changes for the inner.
This is something that I was hopeful of. I said this when she started the weightlifting thing. I said that, I really was hoping that she would learn some discipline, she would learn some self-respect, that she would learn some appreciation for her body, as silly as it sounds. So but it sounds like she has learned a little bit. I hope that this is a trend that continues, because this could eventually lead to some real positive long-term change. So I'm very glad to be hearing this. I just hope that this is not just a flash. I hope that this leads to something.
Internet for aesthetics.
It's very
I don't really
positive to hear.
care if a man finds me attractive or wants to have sex with me. Honestly, men these days, not into it. Not into anyone. I'm very disappointed sometimes that I like men. But anyway, that's the point. What I'm saying is the only reason my body is changing is for me and for that accessibility to the things I want to do.
Yeah.
And when your body is changing in that way, it is very peaceful, because you don't get mad when things don't go as expected. And instead you turn into a detective and go, okay, why are you not happy? Right. And so instead of asking you like, oh, why the hell am I not losing weight? What am I doing wrong? I instead go, okay, what can I do? What can I make to make you feel better? Because clearly you don't.
I think Glitter still has a long ways to go, but this sounds like she's actually taken a positive step. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to hear it. And I just hope that it leads to some more. But this is the most positive thing. I never thought I would eat. Well, I shouldn't say never, but I wasn't expecting to hear anything positive from this woman ever. So hearing anything positive really it's good to hear. I feel good.
Feel good right now.
I feel good.
And it's looking at my body with compassion versus regret.
Yeah. Yeah. And feeling. You've said it there several times. Feeling. Just how do you feel? How do you want to feel?
Yeah, because like with my condition, I still deal with a lot of swelling. Sometimes I will wake up and I will be 20 pounds heavier. And it will literally be just from inflammation from water. And then I have to ask myself, I could either be like, oh, I've gained weight, I'm such a fat slob. And I don't want to say that because that's such like that, but that's how we are trained to think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Instead of, they're like, how do we know Sasquatch was here? Well, look at all these protein bar wrappers.
And instead I try to look and I go, okay, why did this happen? What choices led to this? What can I change in the future to not feel this way?
That's deep. That's deep. JH. Anna, I mean, now this statement in this interview, though, is giving me hope for her. I'm hoping that maybe she's finally realized how bad that was for her. How, if she can move beyond this would be so great for her. So I don't want to get too hopeful, but I am a hopeful person. You folks know that. And I'm really hopeful for Anna that maybe this will finally lead to something good. So let's listen to the rest. There's only a few more minutes.
Or to not have this reaction. And is whatever caused it worth it? Sometimes the decision is, okay, I know I'm going to do this and it's going to make me swell and right?
Yeah.
Because there are trade-offs in life. There are trade-offs. Sometimes you're just going to choose to deal with the change. But again, it's taking that pressure off of your body or punishing your body and more being like, I'm informed, so I at least know what's happening. And I think because we don't connect with our bodies, it's easier to villainize them and to hate them because we don't see them as the amazing, fascinating things they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be because some people have grown up being told that they're not.
Right after I praised her too, right? Like I still want to be positive, but I'm still hearing a lot of negative stuff too.
Worthy in that body, or their body isn't worthy enough, and for others they create it themselves.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
She still has a long ways to go.
All of the media we see is just constantly picking and destroying bodies, men and women. I don't want to say this is just a women's issue. I would say there's more of it, but it's still happening to men as well.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with her on that too. I think the media in a lot of ways is negative. And I think the media can be negative in both directions as far as preaching unhealthy bodies, as far as, everybody should be like super fit and in amazing shape, but then they tell people to eat junk food all day. The media sends such mixed messages from between the movies and the advertisements. So I sympathize with that. definitely you're going to get missed messaging from the media.
And I love talking to people in the fitness world because they're like, what people think a dad bod is like training for 4 years.
Yeah.
It is not like people think like a jacked man is like a bodybuilder, and a bodybuilder, by the way, they'll probably be the first to admit, not a super healthy way to live long term. It is done just for a show. And then it is, those people usually pack on the meals afterwards because they've been starving to get their body fat so low. But people don't really know what a healthy body looks like, which is another thing. And the question becomes, is there a universal way a healthy body looks? And the answer is absolutely not.
No,
there's not.
No way.
But we have a thinking that we know what a healthy body looks like.
I mean, this is at least has some things in here which I kind of agree with a little bit. So this is not, I'm not as upset as I was.
Yeah.
And we put that on other people. It's easiest when a person is overweight like me in a way that's like very visibly bigger. I have people come on my page and they'll be like, you're 600 pounds. And I genuinely go, when I see comments like that, I go, how uneducated are we about the human body? That you see my body and you think that this is 600 pounds.
It's not. I mean, if it's not, then why then give us some evidence. I mean, show us we're wrong, because we don't really have a lot of 600-pound bodies to compare it to.
Not that I'm offended by it. I really don't care. But it's just very clear that we don't even understand how bodies look at different weights. And the same thing will be said, well, someone's, oh, this person's like super small and petite. And this girl will be like, I weigh 230 pounds.
I mean, I guess that's possible too. I mean, I do know sometimes, I will say this, people can be heavier than you realize. You know, it's definitely possible to be heavier than, and to look good at a heavier weight. But I think that also varies, depends on the person. And, you know, not everybody has to be heavy to look good. Some people look good at a lighter weight. You know, everybody's different that way.
We just don't understand how bodies look at different weights. And that's because they vary so much that we have this like one perception of what it is. And it's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's a whole education piece, isn't it? As educate around what is normal fitness, normal health, normal size. Like we got to unlearn everything that society and social media now and years of this body shaming.
There's so many layers to it. Like
but we don't want to go too far in an opposite direction. We don't want to trade one set of problems for another. And that's what I fear a lot of this health at every size stuff is doing. It's throwing out one set of unrealistic and unhealthy beauty standards for a different set of unhealthy beauty standards.
I only really talk about being a fat individual, I guess, but there are layers to this that also have to do with like gender identity and like where did our fashion norms come from? And there is some deep thinking on a lot of that out there. And I think that when we get to it, at the bottom of it, our norms are based on people's insecurities, rather than people's health. And most of our
I mean, and still, even though I did like a couple things toward the end of this, the vast majority of what was here is pretty unpleasant to hear. So I'm not getting my hopes up either, Nirvana. But I will say it was nice to at least hear something that didn't upset.
Measurements for women specifically are like convoluted extrapolations of measurements for men.
Yes.
The BMI is not created on women's bodies. It was created on men's bodies and then being like, this will be good for women.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this insight and judgment that we place on people that even the science behind it is not valid. So I don't know the answers. That's the hardest part. The problems are so obvious. But the only thing I know that's worked for me, and the only thing that I encourage other people, is to find a doctor that listens to you and actually try to figure out what feeling good in your body is and learning to connect to that versus looking good in your body.
That's an absolute perfect way to finish.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that is a pretty inoffensive way to end it. I think that is a fair statement. So in conclusion today, This interview was a lot of fun, and I also think it ended on a hopeful note. I really do believe that if Anna could stay free of injury, eventually, if she keeps this up with this activity, she's going to start losing some weight. It's going to feel good, and it's going to lead to her wanting to continue with that. And it's going to become more difficult for her to convince herself that it's her destiny to be healthy, her destiny to be unhealthy and 600 pounds. I think that once she realizes it's a possibility to be healthier, I think that's when she's going to become more positive about it. Now, that's assuming that she makes it to that point. If she gets a lot of injuries or if she gives up, then that's not going to happen. But if she really manages to continue doing this, I think it could eventually lead to some long-term positive changes. And as much as I criticize this lady, as much as I really dislike her, if she turns it around and starts doing better, well, I will so be there for it. I would love to see it. I really would. But I don't think I'm going to be seeing that anytime soon. So with that said, good night, folks. I think it's time to... Am I normally gullible? A little bit. A little bit gullible. I think I'm too hopeful. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's so much gullible as just I really just want to, even though I know it's probably not true. But I do think that long term it's a possibility. I think it's a long-term possibility. But yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But I think it's actually being hopeful and being confident, right? Like I'm not confident, but I am hopeful. Like I think it's a possibility. But do I think it's likely? No, it's not likely. All right, so let's put on the music and I'll see you off. It keeps me going. I need my hope. It's like buying lottery tickets. Good night, everybody. And thank you again for the super chat, Capricorn. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of the channel members. Thank you to all of the chatters. Thank you to all of the lurkers. Anybody watching the replay. Be sure to leave a like if you've enjoyed the show. It helps out the channel tremendously. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more of this great content. I'll see you folks next week. Have a great night, everybody. Good night, Nutty. Good night, Nirvana. Good night, Tucker and friends. Good night, Capricorn. Good night, J.H. Marine Morals. Welcome in. Glad you had a good night tonight. Thank you for coming by. You too, Rory. STFU. Hopefully you have a great night. Thank you for coming by. And you too, Jamie. Hopefully you have a great night. Hopefully everything goes well for you too. All right, everybody. And if I missed anyone, hopefully I'll have a wonderful evening and I will see y'all around. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.